Hey there. Okay, so today we're going to work on 11.5, which is areas of triangles and quadrilaterals. You already took notes on all this stuff, so you should know what the formulas are. And if you want to have a little cheat sheet start sitting out of what those formulas are, I think that's a great idea. So maybe have your formulas listed in one place, have your calculator, and then just something to write with, and you're ready to go. I'm going to work problems 1, 3, 5, 7, 13, and 15, 13 and 17 with you. Just watch as much of this as is useful for you, okay? Let's get started with number 1. So what kind of shape is number 1? Let's see. Are there right angles in it? No. So it's definitely not a rectangle. For a parallelogram, you need to have opposite sides be congruent. That looks like it's the same length as that, right? And that's the same length as that. So it looks like we have a parallelogram here. You don't have to label them, but you do need to know what they are so that you know which formula to use. So the formula for area of a parallelogram is pretty much the same as the area of a rectangle. You have the base times the height. Now keep in mind in a parallelogram, this is not the height. This is that's a side length. The height is going to be where you drop a line perpendicular from the top down to the base. It has to be perpendicular, so you have to have it at a right angle. In other words, in this case, 4 is the height. So let's multiply the base times the height and see what we get. 6.4 times 4 equals, this is where your calculator comes in handy. 6.4 times 4 equals 25.6. Don't forget your feet, 25.6 feet, and because this is area, you're going to say feet squared. You're going to add that little exponent to the feet. So you could say square feet. That's what we usually say when we're talking about flooring, carpeting, stuff like that. Or like house size, how many square feet is your house? But in math, it's more convenient just to write feet squared. Both are correct though. Okay, so your answer is this. Let's go on to problem number 3. What kind of shape is this guy? Well, it's got 4 sides. Is it a rectangle? No. Is it a parallelogram? Well, is this side equal to that side? Because in a parallelogram, opposite sides have to be equal. Yeah, no, it's not. Those are not equal. It's definitely not a triangle because it has 4 sides. So it must be a trapezoid. Let's see. Trapezoids have 4 sides, and the top side is parallel to the bottom side, and they can be different lengths. So it looks like this fits. So this is our area formula. Let's go ahead and start setting it up. So the area is going to be 1/2, I'm going to write that down, of B1 plus B2. What's B1 and B2? That's base 1 and base 2. So base 1 is on the bottom, base 2 is on the top, or you could switch those, it doesn't matter. But the bottom and the top are the 2 bases. I know it's weird to call the top a base, but I guess you think of it like, what if you flipped it upside down? You could flip a trapezoid upside down. So the 2 bases are the bottom and the top. When you look at this formula, it gets a little bit messy, so I want to say it a different way. Basically what you want to do with a trapezoid is you want to take the top and the bottom and average them. Do you guys know how to average stuff? You're going to add them together and divide them by 2. That's how you average 2 things together. So that's all what we're doing here. I'm going to just do that on my calculator. 3.9 plus 8.3 equals, and then divide it by 2. Now make sure you hit that equals button before you hit divided by 2. Let me show you the difference. If you did 3.9 plus 8.3 divided by 2, look, totally different answer. And the reason for that is order of operations. Your calculator is going to want to do the division before the addition because of PEMDAS. You don't want it to do that. You want to make sure that it does the addition first and then divide. So you can either put these guys in parentheses like this, 3.9 plus 8.3, like that, and then divide them by 2. Or you can just hit enter in between. Either way, whatever makes more sense to you. Alright, so we've got 6.1 for the average of base 1 and base 2. So when I'm writing this down, 1/2 3.9 plus 8.3, that's what we just worked out. That is going to be 6.1. Okay. And we still have to multiply it by the height. Okay, what's the height? Kind of like we were talking about up here. The height is when you take a line and you drop it straight down from the top, and it has to be perpendicular to the base. That's going to be the height. It'll be straight up and down line. In this case, the height is 7.6. I'm running out of room. I guess I should move my Post-it note, but I'm too lazy. All right, so let's do the math on that. Area equals, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it this way so you can just see it gets the same thing. So we're doing this one little part 3 different ways. Oh my goodness. 1/2 3.9 plus 8.3. So if I just hit equal here, we're going to get that same answer, 6.1. Okay, so this is 6.1 times 7.6. And that's where you get 46.36. That's your area. 46.36. It doesn't tell us what to round to, so I'll just keep a couple digits. That's all they have for me. That's all there is for me in the calculator right now anyway. And let's put the units on there. Inches squared. It was inches here. When we're finding area, we always have to square our inches, our units, so we're having inches squared. Okay, let's go ahead and look at number 5. Is 5, which one of those is it? Is it a triangle? No. Is it a trapezoid? Well, I don't know. You want to use the more specific definition that you can. It might technically be a trapezoid or a parallelogram, but the easiest one to use is going to be a rectangle. So in a rectangle, your opposite sides are going to be equal. So that's equal to that, and that's equal to that, and you have right angles in the corner. And when that's the case, you can just do length times width. If you notice, the formula for a parallelogram is exactly the same. We're just calling them different things. You could do base times height here. Totally the same thing. In fact, this happens to be a square, doesn't it? So you could really just do side squared because this is how it works out. Area equals, okay, let's do length times width. 11.9 times 11.9. So could you just do 11.9 squared if you wanted to? If you want to just keep it simple and do length times width, that's what you do. So what is 11.9 times 11.9? It's going to be 141.61. And that unit is kilometers. Let's write that down and square it, and we're done. Okay, let's look at number 7. As you can see, number 7 has only 3 sides, so if you're saying triangle, good work, it's a triangle. We need to take 1/2 of the base times the height. Or another way you could say it is to do base times height and then divide it all by 2. So, what is the base? The base is the bottom part here, so in other words, 6 kilometers. I'm just going to go ahead and start writing this out. 1/2 times 6, so that's 1/2 times the base. Now we need to do multiply times the height. What is the height here? Kind of similar to the trapezoid and the parallelogram. In the height of a triangle, you have to start at the top point and drop a line straight down to the bottom so it meets at a right angle, and that length is the height. So the height here is 2.5 kilometers. Wow, that's a big triangle. 2.5 kilometers. Okay, let's multiply that all together. So I've got a fraction button I can use here, and I can show you other ways to do it too. So times 6 times 2.5, you're going to get 7.5 kilometers. Don't forget to square them, so 7.5 kilometers squared. What if you don't have a fraction button? Well, 1/2 times 6 is the same thing as 6 divided by 2. So you could just say 3 if you want. Or you could do this version of the formula, base times height over 2. Let's do that right now. So I'm going to use my parentheses. Don't forget your parentheses. For the base times the height, 6 times 2.5. Got it all in parentheses there. And then I'm going to divide it by 2. And you should get the same thing. Okay, a couple more to go over. They're just kind of weird. They're twisted around. So I thought I'd show them to you. We'll set them up. We might not solve them all the way through. But like number 13. Okay, this is kind of weird. We don't have the measurement of the base. But you know what? If we turn it this way, this side could be the base. And this height definitely works out with that. So let's just pretend that 11 is the base and 6.6 is the height. And that will give us the answer. So you'll do 1/2 of 11 times 6.6. Okay? So you can work that one out. And then over here, same idea. It's kind of sideways, right? For a parallelogram, you need the base times the height. You don't have the base, you have the side. But if you turn it this way, that side really could be the base. That doesn't change the area of a block to twist it on its side, right? You can totally twist these around any way you need to and just use this as the base and this as the height. Okay, I will let you guys do the rest of this. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. And thanks for watching. Bye.